Well, that helped pass the time a little bit because the time moves so slowly when you're waiting for a Six Nations weekend to return. But this just landed today. A new podcast series with Rassie Erasmus sitting down opposite some of his contemporaries and reminiscing, sharing philosophies, telling stories. Rassie Plus is here. Or can I recommend they change the name to Rassie Minus? Because he's looking very good at the minute, isn't he? Looking very healthy. Maybe that's just what a South African summer does to you. I'm coming off the back of a few months of a UK winter and feeling quite pasty. I need a bit of vitamin D. So yeah, Rassie Plus arrived, and the first episode, he is sat down chatting with Felix Jones. I'm going to recommend you go and watch this. It's an hour's conversation. It's on Smash Sports on YouTube, and it's really, really good. And I don't know about when you watch it, or if you have watched it, tell me if you share this thought. I was watching this and I was taking it all in, but in the back of my mind was, how did Full Contact get it so wrong? How can two blokes just sat opposite each other having a chat blow what should have been all access Six Nations content out of the water? You've got, in my humble opinion, the best annual sporting competition in the world of any sport, let alone rugby, in the Six Nations, all that history, all those characters, all that drama. And how did they manage to blow it so badly? Season 1, it was an issue because there was no access. Season 2, some teams tried to give a load of access, but then the people making it just tried to make it some aspirational projection of, oh, rugby's amazing, look at all the hype, look at all the money and the glitz. No, I don't want to see Marcus Smith driving around in a really expensive car. I don't care about his G-Wagon. I want to know about his life growing up. I want to know about his story. I want to know about his philosophy. And that's what you get here with just two men sat across the table from each other. And it was brilliant. And just like Chasing the Sun 2, they've gone and done it again. It was human. It was real. It was authentic. It made you like the people even more. It made you care. It made you understand. And I learned a load. I was inspired. I'll put it this way. I've just finished my coaching season with the university team that I coach. Just do it voluntarily in my spare time. I love it. The boys at Manchester Metropolitan University, double winners this year. It made me, listening to this conversation, made me want the new season to be here right now, because I was kind of fired up hearing some of the things that they were saying. And I'll go through a few of those things and my thoughts overall on the series. Like I say, go out and watch it. It also made me reflect on this channel. And can I say, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely really appreciate it. I would love it if you would give the video a thumbs up and help me reach other people, because that's one of the things I sat there thinking. It's like, there's so many great channels out there with like World Cup winning rugby players, with people that have tons of international caps, with people far better known, far more credentials. I've played at a decent level. I've coached a little bit. I've worked on some of the broadcasting of rugby for a bit, but like, who am I? And yet this channel does really, really well. And I kind of realised that going back to the Full Contact versus Chasing the Sun 2 and this, it's like, I think it's just the authenticity of it. I've sat here before and shared stories and shared moments that have been very personal, where I felt quite vulnerable, shed a tear or two over the time. And I think that's actually what it says. One of the things I love about this channel is I will go to a ground, watch a game, and someone will come up and just start a conversation with me like we're like we already know each other, and like we're in a pub having a chat. And that is one of my favorite things. I love it. And so bottom line is, thank you so much for watching. And if I haven't earned your subscription already, I would really, really love that. So I highly recommend you go and watch this. Felix Jones, I knew that this wasn't going to be a kind of spilling the beans on what happened with Felix Jones and England. Obviously, there's a story there. Maybe we'll find out one day in his autobiography in the future, but it's still relatively recent, so we were never going to find that out. But what we did find out about is Felix Jones's new coaching role, the experiences together that Rassie Erasmus and Felix Jones have shared that kind of has set them on the path that they're on together again. What else do we learn in this? We learn that Rassie Erasmus has a putting green on his rooftop garden. Very nice. With a little US Open flag in it. Love that. We learned that the Springboks are going to spend 139 days together this year. That seems like a lot. That's like 5 months together. That's cool. What else did I learn? I learned about fungi, the dingle dolphin in Ireland. I'd never heard of fungi, the dingle dolphin. I've looked it up. Awesome. Not there now, but it put Dingle on the map in Ireland because this dolphin was very, very friendly, and so it was a big tourist attraction in and of itself. There's a little brass statue there in Dingle now of fungi, the dingle dolphin. I learned that Rassie, Erasmus's dog, is gets quite angry by the colour red. And chews Rassie's sandals under the table while he's having a conversation. I learnt that Rassie absolutely loves Ireland. He is forever grateful for how Munster took him in. He and Felix Jones spoke about the death of Axel Foley, who was part of that coaching team. Well, obviously a legend at Munster, but was briefly part of the coaching team with Rassie, Jacques Nienaber, a very young Felix Jones, and Jerry Flannery as well. And it was in hearing those stories about Axel Foley, and Rassie even shared stories about getting it completely not understanding culturally how funerals and the after death process. And he even said, and I'm not going to spoil any more, even than this. He even said that when he found out about the fact he'd passed away, he thought, oh no, let's not tell the players and let's let them play the game. And what I love about that is he's willing to go, I got some stuff really wrong, and I put my hands up, and I said the same. And Felix Jones was doing similar on the flip side with him coming to South Africa. And basically it was a lot of this chat was just sharing stories about having to integrate within a culture that's completely different from where you've come from. But the deeper you get into it, the more you realise how alike the two different places are. Ireland, or Munster specifically, and South Africa as well. But do you know what? This was one of the moments that just made me go, there you go, that's it. There was one moment where Rassie says, he says, he's forever grateful to Munster for the way that they took him in. And he said, in the media, they've built up this animosity between me and Ireland, or South Africa and Ireland, all the rest of it. They've built up this thing. And he said, but that's just in the media. And then his eyes lit up and he said, which is good. And at that moment, I thought, that guy gets it. He absolutely gets it. So Rassie knows the truth, that he loves Munster, but he's more than happy to go along, or not go along, or no, he definitely doesn't stoke it, but he doesn't mind that the media build up this big rivalry or this animosity, because he recognises that's good for the sport. That's good for the storytelling of the game. That makes the match, say this November coming between South Africa in Ireland, that's going to create this kind of, the myth is going to grow, the story is going to get bigger, the hype is going to be even bigger. But Rassie Erasmus knows the truth. He loves Ireland. He absolutely loves Munster. That time in Munster and the people that he met there are massively important to him. Case in point, how many of them has he taken with him? Jacques Nienaber, Felix Jones, Jerry Flannery. Very close within his orbit. And he keeps those guys close to him. So, and that ties in with a phrase that he used a bunch of times, the both of them, Felix and Rassie, used in this chat, creating your own reality, as in shutting out all the outside noise and knowing the journey you're on and knowing where you're going and what's real. And that was a big takeaway. And do you know where that came from? As you'll find out if you go and watch the whole chat, that came from Axel Foley sending a little podcast suggestion to Rassie on his phone, either the night before or a couple of days before he died. And that phrase is now engraved on a watch, which Jerry Flannery and Felix Jones gave to Rassie when he left Munster. So I've probably said, I don't want to say too much more, because if you haven't watched it, I want you to have lots to enjoy. What we did get was a bit of detail, a bit of flesh on the bones with Felix Jones's new job in South Africa. Oh yeah, Felix Jones on his, I should have said, that was Rassie integrating into Ireland, Felix integrating into South Africa. When he left the South Africa job after the 2023 World Cup, he gave Rassie Erasmus this picture, and it was of a girl that they met on the trophy tour in Port Elizabeth What do they call it? What's it called? Geberge. Have I got that right? I'm trying anyway. Hopefully I've got it right. But as Rassie says, it's okay not to know, or it's okay to be wrong. So I might have got that wrong. But if it is Geberge or Port Elizabeth, whatever the case may be, this was a girl that they met. And Rassie said he'll never share the letter, but he treasures a letter which Felix Jones gave to him when he left the job. They clearly love the bones of each other. It's like a bromance. You got a bromance. You got a bunch of bromances in this episode. Rassie and Ireland, Felix Jones and South Africa, Rassie and Felix Jones. They love the bones of each other. But hearing Felix talk about his new role, and basically he is Mr. 1%. So I think Rassie Erasmus said it's the biggest coaching team he's ever been part of. So it was clearly like he hadn't planned for someone else to join, but Felix Jones became available and, hold on, we can make this work. And they can make it work by Felix Jones basically helping everyone. He might spend a bit of time here, then he'll come and do that, then he'll come and help out Tony Brown with the attack, he'll go and work with Jaco Paper with the referees, he'll work on preparing to face that particular opposition. And what's amazing about that is Rassie Erasmus is a lot of the things they say, they've sort of created an environment where no one feels like their toes are being stepped on. And that's really cool. And what's that Irish thing that Rassie says he takes with him that fits into that minding each other? It's like that trust, that respect, that care for each other, that common purpose that's bigger than you is what's driven this South Africa team to win back-to-back Rugby World Cups. But it's why none of the coaches that are in the South Africa setup feel like their noses are put out of joint now that Felix Jones has been put in the team, and he might be going, yeah, I see what you're doing over there with the attack, Tony, but have you thought about this and this and this? Bigger goal, common purpose, all that stuff. So I found it absolutely fascinating. And again, if England or Ireland or Wales or Scotland or France or the Six Nations as a whole, or anyone else, frankly, in rugby, if anyone else gets another shot to do some rugby content that peels back the layers, can people start taking notice of what actually works and what's actually powerful and what actually makes you like and care about players and coaches and teams a little bit more? Nothing superficial. Let's just simple and real. That's how I'd summarise this one. So there you go. That's my thoughts on that. Absolutely loved it. Past an hour while we're waiting for the Six Nations to arrive, and I highly recommend you going and checking it out. Tell you what I'll do, to be fair to the people that made this, I'll chuck a little link in the description down there. If you're still watching, please hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one.